Hello, today let us discuss about land reforms in India. As we all know, agriculture is the main economic activity of India. Indian economy is based on agriculture. Economic development of India to a large extent depends upon development of agriculture. Development of agriculture generally we believe depend on availability of credit, high yielding varieties of crops, availability of fertilizer and so on, mechanization and so on. In reality, the real development of Indian agriculture depends upon agrarian structure. A conducive agrarian structure is very essential for the development of agriculture. In this context, land reform measures have been undertaken in India to make agrarian structure more conducive, to ensure justice, to bring egalitarian in the distribution and also to facilitate agrarian development. In this context, we need to focus on and study land reforms in India. Mahatma Gandhi considered agriculture as a very important activity in India. Agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. As Mahatma Gandhi ji rightly pointed out, India lives in villages and agriculture is the soul of Indian economy. Only by developing Indian agriculture, we can attain economic development. Right now, today, agriculture contributes around 17 to 18% to the national income. Around 50% of the population is engaged directly or indirectly in agriculture. That shows the importance of agriculture in our economy. If we just look at the importance of agriculture in our economy, just let us have a glance over the importance of agriculture. A large portion of the national income is contributed by agriculture in India. On the eve of independence, around 60% of the national income was contributed by agriculture. Over the years, the share of agriculture in the national income has declined, but today around 17 to 18% of the national income is contributed by agriculture, whereas in the world, the average contribution of agriculture to the national income is around 6.1%. That shows the significant role played by Indian agriculture. Secondly, agriculture is the main source of livelihood for nearly 50% of the population. Half of India's population depend on agriculture for their livelihood. 60% of the food items are supplied by agricultural sector, so it is the main source of food supply. Contribution to employment cannot be ignored. 50% of the population is engaged in agriculture. That shows they earn their livelihood through agriculture. Contribution of agriculture in the national income as well as in the international trade also is very significant. Around 38% of our export earnings come from agriculture. Industrial development to a large extent depend upon the agricultural development. In this context, the land reform measures assume place of prominence. Historically, land reform meant reform of the tenure system or redistribution of land ownership rights. Generally, land reform aim at creation of a sound, a progressive and just land tenure system, which is very crucial in the progress of agricultural sector. Land tenure system refers to the way in which it is held by an individual from the government. Importance of land tenure system. Land tenure means how the land is held by the people. The importance of land tenure system is explained by the next 3 points. See, we need to locate who is the owner of the land. We want to know who is the owner of the land to collect the revenue and also focus for achieving agricultural development. If we want to develop agriculture, we need to focus on farmers. Farmer means who is owning the land is also very important. From the point of view of the society, in achieving egalitarian distribution, in ensuring distributive justice, land tenure system occupies place of prominence. Now, what is land reforms? In the common parlance, land reforms means tiller of the soil becoming the owner of the land. There is no intermediary between the government and actual cultivator or the farmer. In a broad sense, land reform means redistribution of the rights of ownership and or use of land away from large landowners and in favor of the real cultivators with a very limited or no land holdings. So, land reform measures mainly aim at transferring ownership rights from the intermediaries, the so called zamindars, to the real cultivators or to the real farmers. There are two main objectives. One is to change the agrarian structure in a way it is not impinging upon or it is not obstructing, but promoting the growth of agriculture. And number two, to replace the old land tenure system by a new one free from all exploitations characterized by the farmer. In short, land reform measures aim at achieving growth with the social justice. They are the two main objectives of land reforms in India. In a nutshell, land reform means bringing about changes in the agrarian structure to facilitate agricultural development by inducing farmers to take up all measures to develop agriculture. So, we can list out the main objectives of land reforms in India like this. One is restructuring agrarian structure to achieve egalitarian structure. That means the real cultivator, the real farmer becoming the owner of the land. Number two, elimination of all exploitation in land relations. In the good old days, landowners used to exploit tenants in many respects. So, land reform measure aim at eliminating all these exploitative measures. Number three, we wanted to achieve the tiller of the soil as the owner of the soil. So, land reform measure aim at making tiller of the soil, actual cultivator, actual farmer as the owner of the land by eliminating intermediary system. Number four is improvement of socio-economic conditions of the rural poor people by widening their land base by various measures, increasing agricultural production and productivity, which is the most important challenge of our economy in the context of growing population, facilitating land based development of rural poor. Majority of the people in the rural areas, they depend on agriculture. So, by providing economic resource to them wherein they work on and they eke out their subsistence. In infusion of great measure of equality in local institutions. So, the basic objectives of land reform measures are achieving growth with social justice. Land reform measures are very important. Why? We need to promote agriculture, we need to incentivize, we need to induce farmers to engage in various activities which will increase dexterity of labor and land. Land reforms is said to be a costless method of increasing production. When the farmers are made, real farmers are made the owners of the land, they will take interest and they mechanize, they modernize agriculture, they apply science and technology. So, this is considered to be a costless method of increasing production. Thirdly, there is a need to establish direct link between real farmers and the government. We need to achieve planned growth. To achieve planned growth, agricultural development should be in conformity with our planning. And most importantly, in India, we need to achieve social justice, distributive justice. We want to attain egalitarian distribution of income and wealth, for which land reforms measures are very, very crucial, very essential. Thank you.